Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to day 10 of our 30-day Accelerator. Now, we have worked on lots of stuff up until now, and we spent the last few days putting together your very first product. Now, what we're moving into is the sales page and the offer that are going to go with that product. And we're going to start with the offer. So let me share my screen, and we will get into it. All right, so here we are back inside of my Kajabi demo account. Now I'm going to recap a couple of things before we jump into it. Here I am firstly inside of my site settings, and one of those settings is payment integrations. Now we didn't look at this on day one, so we're going to talk about it a little bit now. If you click into payment integrations, it's going to bring you through to this screen. Now, Kajabi Payments is like the new alternative to Stripe. It offers all of these things, but it's so far not available everywhere. When you're watching this, hopefully it is available in your area. In Australia, it's still being rolled out. So I can't connect at this point to the new Kajabi payment. So it's saying, all right, well, in that case, they'll need to connect to one of the third-party payment providers, which is Stripe or PayPal. So if I click this button here, it's going to take me through to the third-party integrations area. And another way to get to third-party integrations is, again, back in your site settings. It is just down here, that third-party integrations. So once you're on that tab, you can scroll down a little bit. These are all the things that Kajabi does integrate with easily. So if we come down here, you get to this section on payment providers. Now, I have already connected my PayPal account just so that I can set up a paid offer in this Kajabi demo account, because until you either connect Stripe or PayPal or the new Kajabi payments, you're only going to be able to create free offers in your account. Okay, so I wanted to connect PayPal. All you would do is click the connect button beside one of these, and it very quickly, it brings you through to here. You click the button, you put in your PayPal credentials, and within like a matter of seconds, you are going to be all connected, and it will bring you through to here. So let me just close down a couple of these tabs. All right, so if at any point, if you're wondering whether or not you do have a payment provider connected, you can come back into your third-party integrations and see. Okay, so it's just going to confirm here with this little green connected that we have indeed connected to PayPal, and then we're right to go with setting up paid offers in this account. And close these things down. All right. Now, the next thing that I wanted to recap with you is the product. All right. So we've been working on your first Kajabi product. And if you click into that, we get these tabs across the top here, and one of those tabs is for offers. Now, it says 1 in brackets because when we first created this Kajabi product in the account, there was a little option to set up the product as being a free product or a paid product, okay? And paid was grayed out because at the time I didn't have a payment processor connected. So I had to go with free. And if I click here onto this offers tab, second. Okay, so you can see here it's a free offer that got connected in the background. Now, the reason that it is called Meg's Amazing Course is because that's the name that I gave the product when we were just getting started. And I came back later and I updated it to Sassy Bucks, but the offer name hasn't auto-updated. So we'll need to update that so that it aligns with Sassy Bucks. Right, so if you want to get into the offer, to customize it, to change the settings, you would click here on this offers tab, and you could click into the offer from here. The other way that you can get into your offers is over here in the sidebar, in the sales menu. If you click on offers, all right, it's also sitting here for you. Okay, so whichever way you find easier to get in and access, but just know that you can access it from both places. So when we click into this offer, it's going to open up over here. And you can see that it's got this title, Meg's Amazing Course. Now I'm going to change it to Sassy Bucks so that it aligns with the name of the product. Now, if by the way, you're going to have like a payment plan and a pay in full plan, well, not a plan, pay in full option on your sales page, I recommend down here that you give it an internal title that is something like Sassy Bucks Payment Plan or Sassy Bucks Pay in Full, okay? Because later when we're working on the sales page and we want to connect the offers to the buy buttons, if you've got two different options for people to sign up on, you want to easily be able to pick and connect the correct offer. So make sure you do give it an internal title that easily tells it apart from you or for you, so that when you see it in the drop down, you know which one to pick. Now, the description here, you could fill it in if you wanted to. We're going to leave it empty. If you do plan on adding things like an upsell inside of the student library, the description would pull through from here. Okay, but for now, we'll leave it empty. Now we come down here, you can see that it's already connected to the product. So that just happened magically when we created the product and this offer was created along with it. And then we get down here to the product access area. Now, this bit is important, and we're going to talk about this today. Now, when we spoke about dripping and locking content, I said that over inside of your product, and let's go back to it so we can quickly refresh. We spoke about dripping, and I said, okay, if you are going to set your content up to drip or release on a schedule, it's either going to calculate itself based off when they purchased it, or it's going to calculate itself based off the product access date in the offer. Right, so if we come down here, you can see that right now, everything is published. But if we wanted to say, okay, I want module 2 to release 7 days after module 1. All right. So that 7 days is going to be, currently, it's going to be 7 days after they purchase. But if you want that 7 days to be on a specific date, so for example, you've got all your students going through a cohort on set dates and you want everyone to get module 2 at the same time, then inside of the offer, if your cohort is starting on the 1st of April, then you would begin access at a specific date. We would say the 1st of April, okay, just like this. So then on the 1st of April, when somebody logs into the course, they're going to see everything that's published, and this 7 days is going to calculate off of the 1st of April. So that means all your students will get access to module 2 on the 8th of April. All right, we're not going to go further into it than that. We could talk about this for ages, all right, but just know that if you want your students going through it on the same date, then you need to specify a product access date to keep everyone like on the same schedule. Okay, very important. Now then down here, we have another checkbox that says, do you want to restrict the access to a specific amount of days? So if you leave this empty, they'll just get lifetime access to it, or for as long as the product exists. If you want to say, well, if it's a 90-day access or a 1-year access, you would specify that in here. If you are going to specify or restrict the access, the maximum days you can put in here is 2 years, or 721 days is going to be the maximum. I'm going to leave this as is for now. Okay, post-purchase. The default is that after somebody purchases this offer, they'll go straight through to the student library, and we'll customize the look of the library later. You can leave them going to the student library if you want to. I prefer to create a landing page in the account that is a nice student welcome page, and that's what we are going to do tomorrow. So if you had a student welcome page already created in your account, you would just change it here to existing landing page, and then you'd bring up your landing pages. Right now, all I've got are those 2 pages we worked on the other day, the name of our free guide and the free guide confirmation. If I had a student welcome page, it would be showing in this drop down. All right, so that is what we're going to do tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm just going to leave it as the product library. Then we get down here to post-purchase email. Now, the default email from Kajabi is going to say, purchase successful, whatever it says, and give them a link to log in. If you have an offer that is connected to a product like this one is, then there's not any harm of them, clicking the button to go and log in and access the product. Later, what I'll do, I'll share with you guys a video that talks about ghost offers. And ghost offers are when you go and set up an offer in your account that isn't connected to a product. So it might be for something like a one-on-one coaching call. And if that's what you're doing, I probably wouldn't send this default email. I'd send a custom email, because the default email will say, go and log in to access your product. And when they log in, there won't be any product to see because it's just a call that they are redeeming with you in return for this payment. So it can be a little bit confusing for people to send them to the library and also send them an email that says, go and access your course, if there's not going to be a course there for them to see. But in the case of this particular scenario where there is going to be a course, my Sassy Bucks course for them to see, then I'm happy to send them the default email. That is fine. And then we've got a couple of automations that we are going to set up. So one of the automations, we're going to give our new students a tag so that we can easily find them. Another automation we're going to set up is we will remove a waitlist tag if you're going to have wait people jumping on wait lists in your account. Okay, so I'll show you how to do both those things. And then the third automation that we're going to do, and we're going to do this one today, is we are going to add them to a welcome email sequence. All right, so we're going to write a welcome email, and when somebody purchases this offer, we're going to add them into that email. Okay, let me just quickly hit save for a second. Before we jump into setting up that welcome email, I can talk about a couple of other things here. All right, that's all okay. Now, we don't currently have an image showing here. Useful to have an image. It's going to prove useful at various times, I promise. So I would put an image here that is, often I would just use the same feature image that you used for your course. So if I go in here and select a recent file, hopefully it's going to pop up somewhere simple for me to grab. Let's have a quick look. Somewhere down here. One. Give it a second to load. Maybe a few seconds. There we go. All right, so now we've got that image for us. Perfect. And the other thing that I want to adjust, now that I do have a payment processor connected, is I want to swap it from free to an actual course. So I'm going to come over here. You see there's a pricing tab just here. Let's wait for my page to reload. Okay, so we're going to click here into pricing. And I'm going to change it from a free offer to a one-time payment. And this is just a little mini course of mine, and I'm going to make it like a DIY type of course. Let me just wait for this to load. There it is. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in at $197. Now, Kajabi do also have an option now where customers can pay what they want. And if you go for that option, you can set the minimum. It's been very popular and it's been very successful in a number of experiments. So you could play with that if you wanted to, especially if it's something like, a little 1 hour live workshop, for example. And then over here, you've got your currency. Now, the default for mine, because of in my site settings, I have said that my currency is going to be US dollars. So everything's going to come up in US dollars for me here. If you would like to set up multiple currency offers, you absolutely can. If you want to say to people, hey, do you want to pay in pounds or do you want to pay in US dollars? Then you would need to set up separate offers for each. Okay, so this one would be my US dollar offer. And then I could come back to my offers page over here and I could click these 3 little dots and I could duplicate this offer. And all I would need to change is inside of the offer, I would just change the currency. And then on your sales page, you can say, click here to pay in US dollars, click here to pay in British pounds, okay, which is helpful to lots of people. And so I'm just going to go with a one-time payment, $197. We can see here that PayPal is connected. And then you've got a couple of options down here around limiting the quantity that is sold. So if you want to create some scarcity and urgency inside of the offer, you could change this to quantity limit of, say, it's only available to 10 students, if it's going to be like small group coaching. And then you could have a waitlist page and you would just choose landing page. And again, your pages are going to come up with a drop down. So if you've created a waitlist page for your account, you could just choose your waitlist page from here. And that's what people will see when those 10 spots are exhausted. Now, I am not going to set a quantity. You could also set a time limit, like an expiry. If people don't sign up by a set date, then you could send them to a waitlist page there as well. Okay, so lots of interesting settings inside of the back end of your offer. I'm not going to go into upsells today, but if you would like to add an upsell, So somebody pays you and then they're prompted to, pay again for something else, like maybe 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with you or something, then you would need to have a second offer created in your account for whatever it is that you're going to use or dangle as the upsell. And over here, you would need to, you would connect to that second offer. So when I click here on the offers tab, here, get started, and then you would select that second offer in your account. Let's wait for that to happen for a second. Just like this, okay? So you would need to have a second offer selected in your account, say no results found. So you would have something, and then you would choose that offer from here, and you could put in some details encouraging people to purchase that second thing. What I will say about upsells is if they do purchase your upsell, it's going to go through as a second transaction on their account. Okay, so we'll go back over here to details. And oops, $196.99. Okay, let me just go back into the pricing tab. Not what I wanted. It is a little bit touchy. So hang on one second. You can see here with these little up-down arrows, it's very, very easy to accidentally change the price. So I just set it to $197 and click Save. I think it's good. Let's go back over here to details and it will show me. All right, perfect. Okay, now you could at this point click here to edit the checkout, and it's going to take you through to this view. Okay, if you're going to be sending people from your sales page over to a specific page for the course, like for the payment, for the offer, you need to customize this checkout area. So you can go through and you can add a banner, something that's on brand in here. You could decide how high you want the banner to be. You could overlay a logo. Then you would go into here. You would summarize again everything that people are going to get. And you can add some additional form fields. So if you want to collect their name and their address and any information that you would like to collect, you would make this checkout, as pretty as you can with the current Kajabi features. We're going to, I'll probably jump in here later on today and, put a bit of information in here. Let me just refresh this page actually, because we want it to say Sassy Bucks. 1 second. Well, no, it's not. Okay, let me go back here. All right, interesting. I thought that this would update by itself, but apparently it doesn't when you change the name. So we do want that title to align with the course name. Learn something new every day, which is great. All right, so click Save on that. And then I will come back in later and I'll add in some information, put in a banner so that you can see what I have done with this particular look of the checkout. Okay, but when we get to creating our sales page in a couple of days' time, we're actually going to use Kajabi's new pop-up checkout feature, okay, which is less friction for the buyer, much easier for them to just whip out their credit card or put in their PayPal details without having to click over to this specific checkout page. So we're going to do that. We're going to use that new feature, but it doesn't hurt to get comfortable with designing or customizing the look of this checkout. So I'll do a bit of work on that today. I'm going to add that to your task list for today. Just get comfortable with, what you can customize inside of this checkout, and we'll come back and revisit that tomorrow. All right, what I do want to do today, though, is set up that welcome email. Close that one down. All right, so where we are right now is back inside of that marketing menu and inside of email campaigns. And we've got one email campaign there right now, which was the welcome sequence we created after somebody first joins your list. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to pretend that the 2 emails that we wrote in here are beautifully branded, and we don't want to have to start from scratch with putting together a welcome to my course sequence. All right. If you can take some shortcuts, I highly recommend some shortcuts. So if you've got that welcome sequence in there, we're going to click over to these three dots and we're just going to duplicate the whole sequence. We'll wait for it to do its thing. Okay, so now we've got a copy, and what we're going to do is click into that copy, and up here in the settings of this sequence, rather than it being welcome to my list, copy 1, we're going to have welcome to Sassy Box. Save it. Okay, so now the name has updated, so I can come back to the sequence. And we're going to, well, we're not going to do it right now, but you would click into this email and you would, welcome them to the program, let them know how they can log in, give them some details around, any live calls. Do they need to add or subscribe to a calendar? Do they need to join a Facebook group? What do you need them to do now that they have joined your program? And then this second email, I would encourage you to have a few emails, or think of it like a consumption series, but a few emails that encourages them to keep going with the course, anything, specific that you want to draw their attention to, how they redeem their bonuses, that sort of stuff. Probably you might set this second email and subsequent emails, you might have a bit more of a gap in between. So immediately for the first email, then maybe the next email goes out day 5, for example, space them out, but write some emails in there that just encourages your students to keep going. Now, once you have got this welcome email sequence, you'll see up here, there's no subscribe triggers. So we've got a lovely sequence, but there's no way that people are actually getting onto the sequence. So we need to connect this sequence to our offer. And you can either do it inside of here, you could expand here, and you could add a trigger that says, when here the offer is purchased, and you would look up your offer in the list. Okay, then you would save it, then subscribe them to this email sequence. So you can add it in here, or you can add it down here in your offer in this automations area. Okay, and it would be the same thing. Add an automation when this offer is purchased. So you would just do the automation in reverse. You would say then, subscribe to a sequence, and you would go and find your welcome sequence. Okay, so you could put it in either place. I am going to put it, let's go with putting it in the email sequence. So I'm going to save it here. I've added the subscribe trigger. And if I go back over to the offer now and just refresh, you can see when the offer is purchased, welcome to Sassy Bucks, then subscribe to an email sequence. When the offer is purchased, losing my mind, Sassy Bucks, then subscribe to an email sequence and the name of your email sequence. Okay, so it just pops up in the other place, all right? It doesn't matter where you set it, just set it somewhere. Otherwise, this offer is not going to be connected to the sequence and nobody's going to get the welcome email. Now, the other thing that I would do is I would add an automation that says, when the offer is purchased, then add a tag, and you would start student. I like to start them all the same, which is student, and then the name of the course. Okay, like this. All right. And if, as people have been joining your email list, you've been giving them a tag for something like waitlist for your course, or, that'll do, waitlist for your course. So when we first put together that first opt-in and confirmation, you have the option. Let's just go back and revisit it. While we're here, 1 second, back over here, and back into marketing. So if you have a think back to days, probably it was 2 and 3, where we had a form that we were using to connect people who were opting in on your first landing page to the email sequence, to the welcome sequence. So let's go and have a look at that form. We're opting in to your form. And then down here, after they opted in, we were subscribing them to that first email sequence you created. Now, if that page was an opt-in for a waitlist for your course, you could have added an automation here. We didn't talk about it at the time, so we'll talk about it now. When somebody submits that initial form, we did add a tag, waitlist, sassy bucks. Okay, so you can see in the side panel here that a tag was created just then, all right? So we've added a tag for anybody opting in to let them know about Sassy Bucks. So then if they do purchase your course when it's ready to go, then the other automation that you would want to add in here would be to take them off the wait list, okay? So that every time you go to promote this, you don't promote it to them again. And so the automation in that instance would be when the offer is purchased, then remove a tag, and we would take that waitlist tag away. Okay, so you can do lots of fun stuff with tags, but a useful thing to know here is that tags in your Kajabi account are maxed, maximum 100. Okay, so they're capped at 100. And you would think, oh, I'll never get to 100. But if you go crazy with tags, you do actually get to 100 tags very quickly. And then you have to go through an exercise of merging people and combining tags, all this sort of stuff. So use your tags sparingly, but they are really very handy when you go over to your contacts list and you want to filter your list by people who are in your course or have ever purchased your course or are currently on your wait list for your course. Tags are really handy. Okay, so that is as much as we're going to do today, but a quick recap. And my little didn't save. Hang on one second. Let me put my little offer image back in. Next one. And we'll wait for it to do its thing. Okay, so let's have a chat about it. Today, we have made sure that we've got a payment processor of some kind connected, whether that's Kajabi Payments or Stripe or PayPal. That's done inside of your site settings. Then we have come over into the sales menu, into offers. We've opened up that very basic offer that was created for us a couple of days ago, and we started filling in the gaps. Now, give it a easy to find internal title, especially if you're going to have a number of payment, options for your particular course. The product should already be connected. If you do want your students going through the course at the same time, like as a cohort, set the product access date to when the course should begin. If you want to restrict the time that they get access to the course to sort of hurry them along a bit, then you would check this box, maximum days, 721 or 2 years. We're going to create student welcome page tomorrow, and then we will change this from just sending them to the library after purchase to actually sending them to a nice, customized welcome page. Down here, we're going to leave the default email on for post-purchase. If you were creating an offer that's not connected to a product, I would use this custom email option. We set up some automations. We said, okay, if they purchase this offer, give them a tag, a student tag, and also subscribe them to this welcome email sequence that we wrote over inside of the marketing menu. Okay, so we cloned the welcome to my list sequence. We tweaked it a little bit. We turned it into the welcome to my course sequence. Okay, and if you wanted to, if you are going to be giving people a waitlist tag when they first join your list, and then they purchase your offer, you could remove that waitlist tag. Okay, that bit is completely optional. We also put an image in here. I would suggest, just the same image that you're using for your overall course image. Keep it nice and simple. We changed the pricing from free to paid. And then I've asked you guys to go up here, click edit checkout, and just get comfortable with what you can do as far as customizing the look of the checkout. And I will do that at my end. we'll revisit that tomorrow at the same time as we're doing that student welcome page. Oh, and the last thing that I talked about was upsells. If you do want to add an upsell, you need to have a second offer created in your account that's going to serve as the upsell, and you would connect the offer here inside of the upsells area. And I've got some additional training for you on that. Okay, guys, lots of fun today as we start to dive into how we're actually going to get paid for this amazing product that you're creating. Have some fun with that. Dig around, have a look at all the various little settings and things that you can, and I will see you back tomorrow for our student welcome page.